Hello, my name is George Saldana, and I'm a family court advocate slash the founder of Texas Team 2503. And I wanted to make this video because I wanted to tell you guys I've been to jail for my children. Not because I was a degenerate, not because I was stealing hubcaps, catalytic converters, or I was breaking into people's homes, but I challenged people who wouldn't do the right thing. I challenged judges, I challenged lawyers, I challenged police officers and DAs who wouldn't uphold court orders. See, this video is going to be a little different because it wasn't a police officer, a DA, a sitting judge, or a lawyer that actually put me in jail. I landed in jail because a child advocate here in the state of Texas decided that she knew how to work the system, everything that we've taught parents on how to file criminal complaints. She worked the system and provided false allegations to help me land in jail. Now, when I went to jail, it's never fun. It was 17 hours of being incarcerated for a crime that I knew I didn't commit. And I think this person knew I didn't commit a crime, but just to retaliate, just because I called her out for stealing my social media group on Facebook with 11,500 members, she decided that since I plastered her face all over social media, that she was going to file these false charges. And this is my season pass to the Bexar County Jail. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking. George, you need to take the high road. We shouldn't be bashing other advocates, and you shouldn't take the same road she did, blah, blah, blah. And my answer to that is absolutely not. Okay, I don't like going to jail. I don't like going to jail for things that I didn't do. And I don't think that I should have sat there for 17 hours. I don't think I should have paid a $2,500 bond. And I don't think I should have received an order of protection from her when she was clearly the aggressor. So I'm going to deep dive this case for you to see how spiteful some advocates get when all they're doing is chasing clout and wanting recognition for their advocacy. So let's go. As you can see, I got a big smile on my face when I'm applying for my season pass at the Bexar County Jail. And the reason is because I knew from the get-go that I didn't do anything to break the law, and this person's allegations were completely false. This happened in December of 2022. So the person we're talking about is Claudio Valles. Claudio Valles and I met some years back. I don't remember. She was one of the first parent that I was able to help with interference with child custody. We've met at a Starbucks. She went to the same high school, but we didn't graduate the same year. She graduated a few years earlier. You see, Claudia was part of us. She was an admin moderator on our Texas 2503 page. And for a while there, everything was great for the first couple of years. Well, Claudia didn't want to be a part of Team 2503. She didn't like the way it was heading, so she started her own advocacy. She started her own pages. She started running with other advocates that were outside of Texas, and she decided to go on her own. Here's Claudia doing a live on her advocacy page. So Valentine's Day of 2022, Claudia, who was not a part of Team 2503, conspired with Kimmy Lynn Reed and Derek Berry and a few others to take over my Facebook page in which I created. Claudia and these other advocates had a backroom chat in which I wasn't included, and they discussed ways in which how they could take my password, log in, change the email, change the password, remove me from admin status so I would no longer have access to the page. All of this was brought to my attention by a new member of Team 2503 by the name of Jesse Bailey. Jesse Bailey shared me all the screenshots from this backdoor text message group, and she showed me where these two are actually more than two others were trying to take over this page and claim it as their own. This Facebook group helped a lot of parents. We had 11,500 parents that were asking for help for interference with child custody. We were going into the legislative session. We had done some things in legislative sessions prior to being really successful as a group. Now, at the time that she was encouraging members of my advocacy group to take over the page, Claudia wasn't a part of Team 2503. She had already winged off to do her own thing. But she didn't mind showing up to our Zooms, coming into our Zooms by obtaining the password and the meeting ID and trying to dictate what happens in our Zoom that was paid for by members from the advocacy page.
So if you don't like me, you don't like the group, you don't like anything, how do you go? Go.
I already left the group. Remember, I haven't joined the group back. I'm here helping other parents.
After she took off with the page, they started making fun of me. Oh, George is crying. He wants his page back. He's fixing to come back with a tirade of posts and comments, in which I did. You just took something in which I had built since 2017. And before I make my allegations, I always try to make sure I have the correct receipts. And here are some of the receipts. Claudia says, password was changed 45 minutes ago. Kimmy says, can you get in? Claudia says, it says click if you don't remember making the change. Claudia then says, I don't want to mess with it in case I'm entering the wrong PW for password. And Kimmy says, I'm in, everything is secure. I'm getting a lot of messages warning me of George's upcoming tirade. Additionally, Claudia wasn't a part of Team 2503 at this point. We had a Zoom meeting. She wouldn't leave. She said I couldn't kick her out of the Zoom, even though it was the member Zoom. But you can see, y'all are the interim board. I support y'all's decision. It may be a good opportunity to introduce the change that we discussed. So again, George was out of the loop. George was never told of what these changes are. Somebody from the outside that had her own advocacy group still decided that she wanted to capture mine. I tried to get into my account. My account was locked out. This happened the evening of Valentine's of 2022. In my email, I had this. Hi, George, your Facebook password was changed Monday, February 14th, 2022 at 8:15 p.m. It has the IP address. I was able to turn that IP address over to computer forensics that were going into my case to show them that I wasn't the perpetrator. It was actually them who stole from me. My Facebook blog, Saldana versus Texas, and my advocacy page in which I ran my advocacy out of was renamed to El Grupo Tejas, and I had a sunflower and volunteer added to my page in which I created. And naturally, when somebody steals from me, I call it out. I don't know what you guys do. I called law enforcement. They wouldn't take my criminal complaint that someone had interfered and taken my Facebook page and removed me as admin. But I put their pictures up, Claudio Valles, Kimberly Lynn Reed, and Derek Berry, for their acts. And this is where Claudia got upset. Claudia got upset that I put her name out. And she said I put her personal information. Now, we all know that social media and Facebook, it's open to the public. So if you have a Facebook, people can screenshot it and share it. So she steals a page and then she says I put her personal info all over social media. But what was the root cause? So this is where we take the deep dive into the harassment case. So follow me and watch what is said. In her victim impact statement, it says loss of security, feelings of helplessness, fear of leaving home and other. Volunteering work is being compromised. My reputation is being tarnished. How about don't steal other people's Facebook groups, Claudia, and you won't have these issues? It's just my thought. You see, harassment wasn't the only charge Claudia tried to get me caught up on. Let's go over those charges. If you've been watching some of my pages, we talk about the We Hate George Saldana Club or movement. And in that movement, they always talk about George is defrauding the membership by taking donations. So her first complaint was wire fraud, credit card, and debit card abuse, saying that in wire fraud from November 6, 2021 to January 4th, 2022, campaign contribution fraud. I'm a grassroots organization, right? Just because someone gives a donation by Cash App or PayPal doesn't constitute wire fraud or credit card abuse. But that was the first charge she tried to get me caught up on. Second charge is section 32.53 of the Penal Code, exploitation of child, elderly individual, or disabled individual. Claudia is self-admitting now that she is a disabled veteran. Mr. Saldana is aware of this. He also is aware of my CPTSD diagnosis. And then she puts the penal code: a person commits an offense if he intentionally, knowingly, recklessly, with criminal negligence by act, or intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly by admission causes a child, elderly individual, or disabled individual serious bodily injury, serious mental deficiency, impairment, or injury. Due to his actions of fraud and harassment, I am adding the following violation as a report of the violations to 2 mental health professionals. The Department of VA documented the harassment and my mental state concern on February 24th, 2022. On March 14th, 2022, I also notified my private counselor, David Cantu, of the trauma. So apparently I traumatized her by putting her page on social media for her stealing my page. The third charge is Texas Penal Code section 33.07. Under the Electronics Communication Acts of 2021, cyberbullying, Facebook abuse, extorting others to harass someone, false claims of accusations, and reputable damage. She gives a YouTube link in which apparently I posted something about her. I did post something about her stealing the page. It's still up on YouTube. And again, this cyberbullying, Facebook abuse wasn't even considered, but they took the harassment. And of course, charge number 4, Texas Penal Code 42.07, harassment. A person commits an offense if with the intent to harass, annoy, alarm, abuse, torment, embarrass of another or a person, publishes on the internet, website, including social media platform, repeated electronic communications in a manner to reasonably likely or cause emotional distress, abuse, or torment. Again, Claudia, if you wouldn't have stole the page that belonged to us and the members, you're bringing this upon yourself. The 5th charge was stalking. Texas Penal Code 42.072. A person commits an offense if the person on more than one occasion and pursuant to the same scheme of course of conduct that is directed specifically to another person, knowingly engages in conduct that causes the other person, a member, the other person of the parent's household, individual with whom the other person has a dating relationship to be placed in fear of bodily injury. Now, let me stop right there because Claudia and I have never had a dating relationship. We never had any sorts of emotional or romantic relationships at all. We never crossed that path. Okay. But let's go back into it. So she also says, George Saldana engaged in conduct that causes me and my spouse to be placed in fear. George Saldana has a checkered criminal past, including assault with a deadly weapon. He currently has a protective order issued by the Willacy County DA against him for his younger daughter. Now, if y'all been following the movement, you know my daughter has been coming into my advocacy and starting to talk shit about me. And this is where that advocate, Claudio Valles, crossed the line, getting my daughter to side with her to push her narrative. So Claudia also included my civil protective order out of Willacy County for her to gain the order of protection to make me look like an angry, unstable individual, a checkered past, all of this stuff. George Saldana has also had suicide ideations. George Saldana has no job, owes $48,000 in child support. And this is what you call padding your charge, right? You're trying to get them, the people that you're trying to take charges, which was the Bexar County Sheriff's Department. Claudia used this to pad her charge in order to get a protective order so she could claim and make these claims that George Saldana is a bad man. No physical injuries, but it has been emotional distress. But she has been in emotional distress, or this has been emotional distress. I don't know. But maybe you should quit stealing. If you quit stealing, then you probably won't be in distress. United States Marine, using her PTSD, CPTSD in order to obtain a protective order based on false allegations that we all advocate against. This is dangerous, folks. It's dangerous when advocates do this to other advocates in order just to chase clout. I've had to rebuild my reputation. I've had to fight criminal charges based on this. Another advocate that should know better. At this time, I'm going to conclude this because she'll probably file another harassment charge because of this video, in which I'm going over a case that involves me, public information, and stuff that was obviously dismissed by the Bexar County DA for insufficient evidence. And I won't talk about the Ewok incident because Claudia made a complaint in the probable cause warrant that I had posted a picture of her and an Ewok. Now, those who've been following me know that post, and that post was directed at somebody who was involved in the taking of the group, and Claudia made a criminal complaint for that individual. Now, I don't want to post it because knowing Claudia and that individual, they'll try to say that I'm harassing them now with that same picture, and they'll try to file charges in another county for it. But in short, Claudia made a criminal complaint for somebody else. And my deal was like, how did you not look at the picture with the Ewok and Claudia's driver's license and not put them two together? Because obviously Claudia doesn't look like the woman that I said looked like an Ewok. And I'm just going to leave it at that. In the end, it's my story to tell. I went through 17 hours being incarcerated because of false allegations. Not only that, but I had to pay a $2,500 bail just to be let go. All because somebody decided that they wanted my Facebook group more than I did. And they conspired against me behind the scenes in order to obtain it. And then when I came out and I produced images that they had been behind it, now I'm the harasser. I'm the aggressor. I'm the one coming at them. It's my story to tell. I'm not taking no high road. You shouldn't steal, just like you shouldn't steal children. Quit trying to be an advocate for children and reform when you're doing exactly what we advocate against. Let me know what you think in the comments below.